Hi friends, it's Kate and I hope you're having a great day. I am here with a watercolor and my Marie's Masters palette, and this is my swatch sheet for my custom palette that I made with their tube paints. And I'm coming in to do an abstract watercolor today, and I want to explore a little bit of mark making with the watercolor and doing an abstract and playing with some different tools and some mark making at the end. So I hope you'll join me for this fun project, and hopefully you can find some interesting items around where you are to make some marks on your paper. I have enjoyed finding things like paint lids and all kinds of things to just make some interesting marks and lines and organic shapes. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I want to work on a pretty limited palette, but I want to make sure I get all of my good values there. So I'm going to go in. I have really been wanting to do a nice blue and brown color combo. I tend to always gravitate back toward that. So I think what I'm going to be doing today is working with some indigo, maybe some burnt umber, burnt sienna, and possibly a touch of this really nice Prussian blue. So we're going to start light, and so I'm going to go into my burnt umber, mix some of that, and I'm going to take some of this yellow ochre and kind of put it in there too. And I'm going to get it nice and watery because I can always add more color, but I want to just kind of go on the page. So I'm working with my quill brush. This is the Princeton Aqua Elite, and I really love working with it. It's been kind of a fun brush. I have this one I got from Temu, and I like that one as well, but this has been a fun brush to play with. It doesn't have quite the same snap as the one I got on Temu, but it's fun. And I'm just gonna let this color mesh in and mix together. That indigo is such a gorgeous color. I just really, really love it. And let's have some bigger marks here. Why not? And I want to just really play with that texture. So I've got this bristle brush, and it's just very coarse and I like it. So I'm going to just see what I can come up with on the page. That's nice. I'm going to come back in with some more color. Let's go into that Prussian blue a bit and get a little bit of a dab of brighter color in some spots. And I love how that spreads out. And we'll come maybe next to it. Let's come back in. Like that. And this is just a dry brush. It's so fun to play with this color. Let's go back into that indigo. And let's see, why don't we put some dots down here. that. And I have this palette knife here. I think what I'm going to do is make some scratch marks in this. And what happens is if you're doing it in wet paint, it tends to kind of collect into that little groove that you're leaving, and you can get some interesting effects. And maybe I'll come here and just put in some lines, just like that. Almost like we've got some grass growing or twigs sticking up, and I'm going into that white, and it's leaving some marks there as well. This looks great. All right, let's go back into this brown. Let's say we want to just add a little stripe there, maybe down to the bottom, because why not? We can do that if we want to. And I'm getting some of the cauliflower because I'm going over some of this, and that is okay with me. This is all about texture in this paper. And I'm going to leave a little mark there and bring that down. Nice. And how about we come up the opposite way? So I'm going to come into this Prussian blue, and let's say I want to leave myself a bit of a ground here. And maybe I can have it come around like that. Take my brush. Oh, I love this. That is really neat. Okay. And I might have some paint left over on here. I'm going to see if I can add it anywhere, or maybe just dip right into my palette. That's nice. All right. Now I think I want to do some circles, but first I'm going to add a little more of this Prussian blue into another spot, and I think I'd like to strengthen this mark here a bit, just like that. Beautiful. And maybe just another little bit there. It's a beautiful spring day today, so you might hear some birds going on outside. Excellent. Okay. Okay, I'm back, and I'm going to go back into my indigo and get that on my palette nice and dark. And I might even add a little bit of this Prussian blue in with it. Just like that. Kind of squish it over to the other side. And I'm going to load up my brush really well. And I want to focus on this dark area down here. And I'm going to dab quite a bit off with my brush. And get it kind of heavy. And I've got this little air blower. And I'm going to try to see if I can make some little splashes. Just like that. And kind of go around in the direction that I want to make my splashes. And I love that. It's really cool. All right, I'm going to come around here again, here on the inside, and follow that circle line. Okay, and do the same thing there. It almost looks like a big eyelash. Sometimes it's hard to get it to hold because you got to squeeze it firmly to get those splashes like going. But once they do, it looks really neat. Okay, I'm going to come in and get some more color and do the same thing. Maybe come down some more on this, right into this. Nice. All right, and let's finish this out down here at the bottom. And I'm just dabbing it to get that extra moisture there. Nice. Why don't we add a little circle of color here. Just like that. And maybe one more right here. This is really cool. I don't know about you, but I love this. These are great. Get one. Okay, now this is all very blue, and I've got a little bit of that yellow there. I think I'm going to go back in with some of that yellow ochre, and I'm going to mix it right in here with the blues that I've got in my palette and make kind of a muted green color, which I think will go really nicely. So I'm going to just come in here and make some light marks following along with my circles. And just kind of warm it up a bit with that yellow. Maybe I'll have some coming right into my darkness down here. And why don't we let a little bit go into our splashes. And I'm just kind of letting it come along the outside, but it's kind of touching and flowing in just a little bit. And I'll do that a little bit down here too. And just add some extra color. And I'll add a little bit more yellow. Do a couple little spots on here. Like that. All right, let that dry again. Okay, so we're all dry and I'm back. And it's funny because I had this sort of half circle thing here and I was thinking, boy, those splashes look great. Wouldn't it be great if there was something on top of it? And I love this abstract background, and it just so happens I was playing with some little collage pieces that I made and painted, and I'm not going to use this, but I loved how this shape looked in front of that splash. So I'm actually going to take my Posca pen, which is khaki green, and I'm going to go over that, and then I'm going to have some gold ink to add. So I'm going to kind of follow along with a similar shape, and actually I might even kind of trace along the outside just so I can get the placement I want. So I think that looks pretty good. And I'm just gonna go here, let's see. Come here, here, and right here. And make my leaves. Just like that. You never know what you might use a piece of collage paper for. But I am going to thicken up this line and color in my leaves because I want them to be nice and dark and solid on that background because I'm going to add gold to the top of this. So I'm going to color these in and get them nice and dark. And this green color works really nicely on the background. It's nice and kind of a neutral color, so the blue can still kind of be in charge, but this adds enough contrast where you've got something different going on. So I'm just going to fill this in and just make sure it's solid. Just like this. Yeah. Now I could even add some extra texture and just almost have some background leaves kind of poking through. Just like that, if I wanted to. Let's see. I'm going to leave those lines solid. Like that. All right. Now I'm going to bring my palette back and grab a very small detail brush. Okay, I'm going to go with this one here. And it might be not quite as small as I want, but it's what I have on hand right now. And I've got my golden ink that I got on my Temu haul a while back. I'm just going to put it right in my mixing well. And I'm going to grab my damp brush. I've got it blotted pretty good on my paper towel, so I'm just going to dip right into this paint and go around the outside of my leaf. Just like that. And I'm gonna load it up heavy and then kind of let it trail off. And we'll add this slowly just to see how we like it. I don't want to overpower the painting with gold, but I do like having that detail there. And I'm just going really lightly with the brush because it isn't quite as fine of a tip as I would like to have, but it will work. And I'm gonna get some little brush strokes coming out that are very light and maybe shade in half of these background leaves with some of that gold, just for some extra detail, like that. And it's funny, this ink goes a really long way. I only squirted out a couple of drops on my palette and it just lasts forever. Okay. And let me add a little bit more here. I think I like these background leaves filled in a little bit more. That's kind of nice. And I'm going to do kind of a broken line on the outside of the dark ones. So you can see it very lightly, but it's not as heavy as the inside. Now I'm going to add a little bit more. I don't know. I'm just playing with the shading and seeing what I like. I'm almost doing like a dry brush there. Okay. Why don't we come over here? Do a little circle on the outside. And add some little gold dots. Almost like glitter. They're very small. And I'll let those come right out here outside of the painting. And maybe I'll add a couple coming up that way. Just like that. And I'm getting them really little over here. Because this is all about texture, right? Okay, I think we're good. And I really love this. Okay, I'm going to hold it up close so you can see the shine and everything. I love how this turned out. You can see the little gold dots that we added. And this is all just playing with texture. You can see the lines that I put in with the palette knife that we used and the dry brush, and everything just looks really neat. And this is what you can do with different texture tools and just playing around with your mark making. And so this was a really fun exercise. I hope you enjoyed doing it with me. And I hope you enjoy all these videos that I've been putting out. If you like this one, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep creating.